Hey guys, happy Wednesday. It's Tara here. If we don't know each other, I am a registered nurse, health coach, nutritionist, and personal trainer, and I come to you guys every single Wednesday. The times vary a little bit. I have to try to squeeze it in, but I am pretty consistent with doing it every single Wednesday. So today it's about cardio versus strength training. It's more about strength training because what I hear a lot of people tell me is that but I still exercise regularly. I go for walks, or I still exercise regularly. I go for runs. And here's what I want to say. I'm glad you guys can't smell my breath right now because I didn't brush my teeth today. I took a shower, but I didn't brush my teeth. I only had 20 minutes for hygiene. And so I spent all my 20 minutes in the shower, so I don't need to brush my teeth, right? Wrong. Obviously, I'm trying to prove a point. I did brush my teeth today. It's not the same thing to get in your cardio, and sometimes I say it like this, cardio, because you can absolutely have cardiovascular benefits from strength training as well. But it's not the same thing at all to be doing your walks, your runs, or any of that, which is all great, but that is not touching upon the strength training. You're either strength training or you're not. And it doesn't, you're not getting any of the same benefits of the strength training if you're doing that other stuff. Still do it. It still has its own benefits that come along with it, but it's not the same as strength training. So just as if it would be ridiculous to say that I only have 20 minutes and I'm going to spend that time in the shower and I'm going to skip brushing my teeth, it's just as ridiculous to me when somebody is skipping strength training and all the benefits that brings because they're spending their time otherwise on walking and things like that. Ideally, you're able to do both. You fit in both because they're serving different purposes. So we shouldn't have this one exercise bucket where we only have a certain amount of time and we're not allocating it to different things where we need to, okay? I get that we're all crunched for time right now. I very much understand that, especially during this quarantine right now, moms, parents like me, a lot of us have actually decreased in the amount of time that we have, the amount of expendable time that we have. I know everybody out there is talking about all of this time and they're bored and they finished Netflix, they went through everything, and I think a lot of parents are in my boat right now where this is a busier time than ever because we're taking on the homeschooling, we're entertaining the kids, nonstop, we're still working, we still have all the same house responsibilities, and so this is a crazier time than normal. So I'm not saying that everybody has unlimited time to exercise in different capacities. However, it would be ridiculous to say if you take a shower, you don't get to then also brush your teeth. And it's also ridiculous to say if you go for a walk, you don't then also have to strength train. Now, let me go over, hey Rose, thanks for joining. Let me go over strength training, what it actually is. Strength training can be using the machines in the gym, which obviously we don't have access to now anyway. It can absolutely be using weights or that kind of resistance, right? You can use wine bottles, you can use water jugs. I have workouts with laundry detergent, gallons. You can really use anything like that for weights. That's strength training, but also using resistance bands is strength training, and all kinds of body weight exercises is also strength training. So anything that's going to really be challenging your muscles where they are going to need to adapt and grow and become stronger in the process, that's strength training, okay? So I want to share with you guys today, I think it's 11 benefits of strength training, and my hope is that at the end of the video I have at least convinced some of you that you need to add in some sort of strength training into your days, even if you're going on really awesome long walks and hikes, even if you're a runner, or if you're doing nothing, even if you start with 5 minutes. I don't care if you're starting with nothing, 1 minute. If you normally do no strength training and today you do 1 minute, literally 60 seconds worth of challenging your muscles, you're already doing so much more than you were before, and you could obviously add to it from there. So it doesn't have to be this whole big, long, arduous process, but it's really important to be challenging those muscles. Still go on your walks, still do all that stuff. That's going to bring with it a separate set of benefits, but it is not the same as strength training. You are not off the hook from doing this other stuff if you are exercising in a different capacity. Hey, Joni, thanks for joining. Okay, so 11 I'm sure there are lots more, but these are the 11 I just jotted down right now. 11 benefits of strength training, okay? Most of these do not come from those traditional cardio exercises. Still do those things, but also add the strength training in. So muscle growth, okay? Muscle growth, the only way to really build and grow and strengthen your muscles is to challenge it to a point where it needs to adapt. If you're just doing something that's really easy, it's not challenging to you, okay? The point is that it has to be to you. So this could be hard for somebody. If it's really challenging for somebody, then that's going to be strength training for them. But if for you, this is super easy, you feel like you could do this all day long, it's not challenging for you. So then your muscles are not gonna feel like they need to adapt and grow to that challenge. So what happens is you're putting demands, outside demands, on your muscles, telling them that they better step up to the plate, that they are not adequate the way that they are and they need to grow and adapt. And that's what strength training does for you. So the whole point is, whether you follow me, I do free videos. Hi, buddy. We got a visitor. I do, say hi.
Hi.
This is Jagger. You could do strength training with your kids. I do exercise videos basically daily over on Instagram. You know, there's a million other accounts that you can follow, workouts. The main thing is whether you follow the suggested reps or times, great, but tailor it to you and your needs. Hold on, bud. Tailor it to you and your needs, because this way you're telling your body that it needs to grow and strengthen. So if I say do 10 reps of this exercise, but you can barely eke out 6 of them, and the last 2 or 3 are really hard to maintain proper form, but to do it, that's your sweet spot. I don't care that you didn't do 10. I don't care that you're using 2-pound weights instead of 20. The point is that if you're really honest with yourself and something is very challenging to you and you could barely finish it, but you want to keep good form while you're doing it, that is your sweet spot for your muscles to grow. You're challenging them, you're breaking them down on a micro level, which is excellent, because then your body's going to use all the lovely food that you eat during the day and incorporate that into the new cells in order to grow and strengthen. Okay, so that's something that you can only get from strength training. So muscle growth, bone density. There is a protective factor for your bone density, which is really important as we get older with strength training. Muscle mass. So strength training protects muscle mass, which is very important as we get older, but also for those of you out there who are looking to lose weight or lose excess body fat. It's in order to lose the weight from where you want it to come off of, which is the excess body fat, it's important to try to preserve as much of our muscle mass as possible so that you're not lowering your metabolism in the process. So that really comes down to making sure you're eating enough protein, but also that you're strength training alongside it. So this way, when you are losing weight, you're losing body fat, you're not taking away from your muscle. So you have to be strength training for that. Posture and pain. Having the proper musculature and strength is really important to maintain the right posture and therefore all of the other things that come with it, which a lot of times is painful. Arthritis, being hunched over all the time, all of those things are a factor of not being strong enough or not having your muscles balanced out enough to be able to support yourself. Hey, Kelly. Body mechanics, so like balance and coordination, that is really something that we notice the effect of after doing strength training. Insulin sensitivity. Guys, our muscles are like dry sponges for the carbs, the glucose, the sugar, all of that stuff inside of our body. They're like dry sponges. The more muscle mass that we have, the higher our tolerance will be to carbohydrates. Meaning, you can get away with eating more carbohydrates with more muscle mass because they're dry sponges, they soak them up. So they're not leaving the carbohydrates circulating in your blood. They're going to use them up. So by strength training, we can allow ourselves to tolerate more carbohydrates. We become more insulin sensitive, which is what we want. We don't want to become insulin resistant, which means that your body is just not paying attention to the signals. Your body's having to throw up all kinds of insulin in order to be able to take down your blood sugar, and things are all out of whack, okay? If this is something that you don't think is affecting you, it is affecting you. If your blood sugar has always been okay, how is your insulin? Blood sugar changes show up later. Your blood sugar might be great, but your insulin actually might be high. And if nobody's checking that, which most people are not, you won't know it. If you overeat processed carbs, processed sugar, this is affecting you. Even if you don't know it yet, it is absolutely affecting you. It's sort of like somebody smoking 2 packs a day and saying, but I don't have lung cancer now. Right, but eventually you will. So pay attention to the things you eat, of course. Pay attention to your carb sources, but that's for a whole nother video. Strength training allows you to be able to onboard some more carbohydrates. Circulation. Strength training is pumping those muscles. It's moving around your body. These things help with your lymphatic flow. Okay, our lymph fluid doesn't just pump around our body naturally. We have to be moving in order for that to happen. It's not like our blood vessels. So by moving, by contracting your muscles, you're actually helping to move around the lymph fluid, and that's really helpful for your immune system. It boosts your mood and your memory. So there's all kinds of cognitive benefits to strength training, as well as those endorphins that are released. Now, this does happen during traditional cardio as well. This is one of those overlaps, but strength training absolutely brings that too. And it increases your resting metabolism. So when people are talking about using exercise as a tool for fat loss, it's really not an effective tool for fat loss. Still exercise for other reasons, but if you're looking to lose body fat, that's going to come down to almost all of it is going to come down to the nutrition that you're eating, your energy balance. Are you bringing on more energy than you're using up? Are you bringing on the same amount? Or are you bringing on slightly less so that you can use up your body stores? So fat loss comes down to what you're eating. But when it comes to boosting your metabolism a little bit, you can absolutely do that with strength training. When you do some sort of a cardiovascular exercise, for the most part, the burn that you're getting, the calorie burn, is happening during the exercise. When you're talking about strength training, the calorie burn is actually a little bit less while you're doing the activity, but it lasts a lot longer. It can last for up to 24 to 48 hours after that workout, because what's happening is you're having these little micro tears in your muscle, and then it takes a lot of energy in order to build and repair and grow and strengthen. So you do that work during your workout, right? You burn some calories, but not a ton. And then afterwards, as you're resting, as you're just going about your day, your body is doing all this incredible work to try to rebuild and grow and strengthen. Guess what? It needs energy for that. What kind of energy? Calories. It needs the food that you're eating to go towards that sort of work. So when you do strength training, you're increasing your metabolism for up to a day to 2 days later, depending on the intensity of it. And then the last thing I have down here is that it improves your blood pressure and reduces your risk of heart disease. So a lot of people think of cardiovascular exercise, walking, running, as the only benefit for your heart, but strength training is actually excellent for your heart, for your lungs. There's a whole thing I can get into another time about the way that you breathe during exercise and how that can strengthen your lungs and your ability to tolerate carbon dioxide in that as well. So there was 11 benefits to strength training, most of which you can only get from strength training. So again, to recap, strength training is weights, it's body weights, it's machines, it's resistance bands, anything that's going to challenge your muscles in a way that they are not used to being challenged otherwise. As you're walking, that's great, but typically we don't feel sore in our legs after we've walked, right? Unless it's a particularly long walk or you haven't walked in a really long time or something like that. And it's not that you have to feel sore after working out, but when you're working your muscles, you should really feel like you can't do that much more of that particular exercise. So either you're doing a certain amount of reps and you can hardly do any more, or you're adding resistance to that movement where you're getting to the point where you said, you know what? I really only have 1, maybe 2 more reps in me with proper form, and that's it. You don't have to be hitting max, but you have to be near max in order to really get the full benefit of challenging your muscles. Hi, bud. You're in another outfit? Mm-hmm. Anybody else's kids changing outfits like 45 times a day. You got a nice